July 24th. It's not one, but two country superstars in the grandstand, featuring country sensation Terry Allen.
Nothing on but the radio.
And special guest Mark Chestnut.
I'm going through the big D and don't mean Dallas.
For a complete fair schedule and to get your tickets now, go to thechristiancountyfair.com.
WTIM. You're listening to the WTIM morning show on your information station, and the show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and today we're talking about drip irrigation. It's a term maybe you haven't heard of before. Actually, I didn't hear of it before I learned about it just a few minutes ago, but this is something that could actually save your garden during a heat wave. It could save you a significant amount of money on your water bill, which I'm sure we all care about. And here to tell us more about drip irrigation and how it could save you in all of these situations is horticulture educator from the University of Illinois Extension, Andrew Holsinger. Andrew, welcome along.
Hey, it's great to be here.
Yeah. No, it's good to talk to you as well. And let's get right into it. So drip irrigation, just tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's a good technique on putting water where the plants need the water. So in drip irrigation, it's all about precision. You're putting that water exactly where it needs to go. You can have some negative effects if you use an overhead sprinkler. Not that that doesn't work, but you're losing a lot of water through that process. And if you get the foliage wet, that can cause diseases if it doesn't have time to dry out. So you're reducing that water loss from evapotranspiration, and you're also helping to keep the weeds at bay, because when the weeds don't have that water, they don't flourish, and your plants can have the opportunity to flourish in your garden. So it's a good method to keep those weeds at bay, but also put the irrigation where it's needed directly for those plants.
Yeah, and so it sounds like, let's say I've got like a big old garden, and I've got plants kind of in some areas here and there. You're saying just kind of water, specifically around the plants we want, and that's it. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's a good strategy, is to put the water exactly where it needs to go, where the roots uptake that water, and through the vascular system of the plant, it gets to where it needs to go, especially, like the majority of the fruits that we have are mostly made up of water. So water is also important for all the processes that the plants are going through, whether it be flowering or developing the fruit. So it's important to keep the water going throughout the season. And you can have, the rain gauge. It will tell you that you're lacking some water, but it also lets you know if you have had a rain, and so you can adjust maybe the timing of your irrigation. But it makes for a good buffer. Like, even if you didn't have enough water, you could supplementally water some more, but having that kind of the backbone of your watering regime based on a drip irrigation helps to have a little bit of insurance there, so that way you don't lose your crop. This time of season, people are going on vacation, things are busy, lots of places to go. So having kind of an insurance plan of having some drip irrigation provided, and it sure beats dragging a hose if the hose is already provided for your drip irrigation.
Indeed, that would save the trouble there. So for folks who are just kind of beginning gardening for the first time, as would be the case for me, where does someone start in terms of kind of what they need for equipment or whatnot?
It's I asked that same question whenever I started to get interested in drip irrigation, and another educator told me that there's companies that have some pre-assembled kits, and they distribute those, and all of the parts line up. If you just went to the store and tried to mix and match and try to figure out the different brands from maybe a big box store, you could get confused and you could get overwhelmed in trying to get all the pieces put together. But with these pre-assembled kits, they usually come with some great instructions. Some of them have some videos to follow along, and it's a good way to have that kit implemented. There's some great kits out there for a raised bed garden. I have some raised bed gardens that are going strong this year because we have that drip irrigation implemented. It saves on the amount of water that's used, and so it's a great way to have that cost savings on the water bill, and also keeping those plants flourishing. You won't have, hopefully, a lack of harvest whenever it comes to insufficient water. You'll be providing that water so the plants will be able to produce.
All right, so that's a little bit about the kits that you were talking about. In terms of the hardware, talk about some of the components that people will want to get for a system that's going to work well like this.
Well, there's three main pieces that are critical to your setup. You're going to have a backflow preventer. So backflow preventer is going to screw into the source of your water, and it allows for only one-way flow. You don't want the fertilizers, like if you have a liquid fertilizer or any, there's also like the opportunity to fertigate is what it's called, for adding fertilizer into your drip irrigation system. So you don't want any backflow into the clean water supply. So that backflow preventer is essential. You're also going to need a pressure reducer. So that is going to lower the water pressure from the main line, because this water comes out at a smaller pressure, and you don't want to pop those emitters out of the tubes or have any of those kind of challenges. And then there's a filter, and so that filter has a fine mesh that catches the particulates, and so those drip emitters could become clogged. And so it's important to know also the source of water that you're using and maybe the potential for maintenance. So it's going to be a good idea to check those filters, make sure that they're cleaned out, and but it is pretty low maintenance whenever it comes to drip irrigation.
All right, so now we've got our equipment. Now we want to get the water moving, get it to the plants. How do we do that?
Well, there's a main poly pipe. So this polyplastic tubing, it comes out at a larger size, and then it feeds into smaller tubes. Sometimes they're referred to as spaghetti tubes. And at the end of those, you have emitters. There's also, for the larger scale of a garden, there's drip tape. And so that drip tape has holes along the system of that. And so about every 18 inches, you're getting water to come out. And if you have larger areas, or there's different ways of doing this process, they also have some mist emitters that can spray a larger area, but still focus that water source near where the plant is.
Yeah, so that's then how we get the water out there to the plants. Now, let's also keep in mind the soil as well. Talk about how the ground beneath our feet might change how we should water. I know you mentioned a couple different ways earlier. Talk about how that plays in.
Yeah, the soil texture is important. So you could have a clay soil, you could have a sandy soil. So where there's sandy soil, that water is going to drain quicker, and you're going to have to apply more water in those situations. But if you have an area that has like organic matter that's going to help retain that moisture, or more of a clay soil, you're going to have a different flow rate for that water. So for a clay soil, you're looking at maybe a half gallon per hour. That clay can't accept the water as quickly. If you go too fast, you'll get pooling. But if this sandy soil, it's going to drain more quickly, so you're going to have a higher amount. So you're looking at about 2 gallons per hour is more appropriate. and there's certain adjustments depending on the crops that you're growing. So you can scale each particular crop based on its water requirement. And so you can make adjustments, set up different zones for a drip irrigation system to where you can water a particular zone more than another. And with technology, they even have some of this available depending on your timer or your source of water. It will allow you to go to your app on the iPhone or other device and control the irrigation and keep it in a focused manner.
Well, there's an app for that indeed. And you heard it from Andrew Holsinger, horticulture educator at the University of Illinois Extension. Let's take a break and we'll continue to talk about drip irrigation after the break right here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. We did have an outage right at the open today. Corn and beans lower, wheat slightly higher. September corn down 4.5, 430.5. December corn down a nickel, 451.25. March corn 466.25, down 5.25. August beans down 11, 1182.25. September beans down 10.25, 1173.25. November beans 1183.25, down 9. September Chicago wheat 610.25, up 2.5. December KC wheat is up 2.25, 661.75. August bean meal up 40 cents, 312.70. August bean oil down 27 cents, 70.58. Livestock trade August feeders up $1.02, 363.07. August live cattle up 7 cents, 237.70. July lean hogs down 35 cents, 94.15. Energy market September Brent crude oil down 84 cents, 77.18.
When you buy and service with Trinity Automotive, you're getting more than a vehicle. You're getting peace of mind every mile. Our award-winning service department is backed by certified technicians who know your vehicle inside and out, so you can drive with confidence. Trinity is also commercial and business link ready with heavy-duty equipment and lifts to handle even the toughest jobs. And for extra convenience, enjoy free pickup and delivery within 30 miles when you buy your vehicle here. So come see us right off Route 29 in Taylorville or shop online anytime at trinitydodge.net.
Let freedom ring with the Yawn Exterminators at Just Beds. Sparkle like it's 1776 with these savings. Take 10% off the already low sale price on Benco Haven, Max Life, Arctic Breeze, and Copper. Sweet dreams and independence from a bad bed are made easy with 15% off Chatham & Wells mattress sets. Visit the guys at Just Beds with free delivery, free setup, free removal, and freedom for all. A good night's sleep awaits at Just Beds on Montvale, locally owned since 1996.
Just Beds.
Don't let summer weather get in the way of your summer fun. Here's Dr. Pavi Gill with Springfield Clinic, Taylorville.
Once the weather warms up, it's more important than ever to practice sun safety. The providers at Springfield Clinic, Taylorville recommend that if you're out in the sun, you drink water throughout the day and wear sunscreen, hats, and UPF clothing.
But if you need care, whether for a routine checkup or a vacation bug this summer, call Springfield Clinic Taylorville at 217-287-8855 to schedule an appointment.
At People's Bank and Trust, they help their consumer and business customers spend their time living their life, not explaining it. At People's Bank and Trust, they put people first. Find out how they can help you by clicking their banner ad at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Robinson from Advanced Title. Whether selling your home on your own or through your local realtor, please give us a call at 824-8007 for all your title work needs.
WTIM.
We're back on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I continue talking with Andrew Holsinger, a horticulture educator at the University of Illinois Extension, and we've been talking about drip irrigation. as a way to save water when it comes to gardening, or just save on water costs overall. And I want to continue by bringing up the fact that we've recently, although it's been a little bit better in the last few days, have been having a lot of extreme heat. Talk about how that changes some of the strategies that we talked about earlier.
Oh, sure. Yeah, when your temperatures exceed 86 degrees Fahrenheit, most of your plant growth is going to slow down, if not come to a stop, for some of your plants producing your great vegetable crops like tomatoes. So the heat also affects flowering and many other processes of the plant life. And so when it gets to those high temperatures, there are some things you can do to help mitigate that. Watering early is going to do more for the plant and conserving some of that moisture. They're going to be able to absorb that moisture before the sun comes out and it's lost to that evapotranspiration. Mulch is a good tool, so you can add a layer of organic mulch. Weed-free mulch. Straw could be used. You got to be careful if you, some have used like grass clippings, but you have to make sure you haven't had any herbicide applied to that lawn where you got the grass clippings from. But that organic mulch is going to keep those roots cooler. It's going to reduce that evaporation, and keep that moisture near those roots. The layer of mulch also protects your plants from that water splashing the soil up onto the leaves. So for tomato plants especially, the water splashes up and then it infects with a fungal disease, and then you start having challenges. So it's best to have a layer of mulch to provide both the benefit of retaining the moisture and to prevent disease. Providing shade with a shade cloth or a lightweight fabric can prevent sun scald. So that's common when vegetables get too much sun, they'll scald and have that condition called sun scald. You see that on especially peppers and tomatoes. And you want to avoid stress to the plants, and so don't fertilize or transplant during a heat wave. Try to just maintain your plants as best you can, and enjoy that you can have this watering going on while you're indoors. That drip irrigation can be working outside and taking care of your plants and providing the benefit of watering through the season without you having to, you want to be protective of yourself in these hot weather. So practice good safety and try to beat the heat.
Beat the heat is right. So you get your equipment, you set it up. Now, in terms of maintenance, how does one keep this sort of thing running year after year as they continue to garden?
Well, there's the winter time will appear later in the season, so you're going to need to give your drip irrigation system end of the year overview. You'll want to remove any excess water in that. You can use an air compressor to blow out the remaining water. You can check for any broken heads or clogs, whenever you set it up in the springtime. But you want to keep it running smoothly. Make sure you're checking for leaks throughout the season. But for that small investment, efficiency sure seems worth the while whenever it comes to using drip irrigation.
Yeah, the efficiency definitely seems worth it. I'll tell you what, we've got about a minute to go. Do you folks have any online resources that you'd want to direct our listeners to about drip irrigation?
I'm sure that we probably have some information that would be applicable. We have our Illinois Fruit and Vegetable Growers, which is more of a commercial aspect, but we have a lot of webinars and information, and there's some information on our website about irrigation, and don't forget about, the possibility of irrigating the lawn through this, times that we have dry spells in the summer.
All right. So some tips there about drip irrigation and all of that. Andrew Holsinger, horticulture educator from the University of Illinois Extension, is the one who's told us about it. Andrew, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, and thank you for listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville.
96.1 FM Taylorville.
107.5 FM Shelbyville.
107.9 FM